Good evening, my name is Katarzyna Nowicka and welcome to Poland Daily News. The election silence began at midnight and will end tomorrow after polling stations close. They will be open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. More than 30 million Poles are eligible to vote in the second round of the presidential election. We invite you to a special program of Telewizja Republika tomorrow at 8:45 p.m., during which the latest results will be announced, as well as reports from the staff of the candidates, commentary and analyses. Today, we are celebrating the National Day of Remembrance for the victims of the Ukrainian genocide on citizens of the Second Republic of Poland. It commemorates the Bloody Sunday of July 11, 1943, when Ukrainian nationalists, under the sign of the Ukrainian Insurgent Army and the Organization of Ukrainian Nationalists, supported by civilians, attacked over 100 Polish villages in Volhynia, brutally murdering their inhabitants. The vast majority of the victims of this crime have not been commemorated, even in a symbolic way.
At least 100,000 Poles who lived in the Wołyń and Eastern Galicia area were murdered in a cruel way in the period between 1942 and 1943 by the Ukrainian nationalists under the leadership of Stepan Bandera. Many also were killed by their Ukrainian neighbors. The worst day of those atrocities was the Bloody Sunday, July 11, 1943. To commemorate the gruesome murders of genocide, the day of July 11th is the National Day of Remembrance for the victims of the Ukrainian genocide, established in 2016. On the 77th anniversary of the murders, the official commemorations began with a holy mass for the victims and laying flowers at the statue erected to commemorate the Wołyń massacre. Those who survived the Wołyń massacre were passing along the witness testimonies to the younger generations. In their circles, it was clear who was responsible. That was a similar matter as with Katyń murders. What was missing was the respect from the government. In communist Poland, those subjects were forbidden and were not included in the history curriculum at any level of education. And this is somewhat understandable. But after the fall of communism, this matter was lost in political correctness, so that it would not be a touchy issue in the future. It took a great effort to overcome difficulties to uncover those gruesome pages of Polish-Ukrainian history. Unfortunately, this process was stalled by the Ukrainian side. Still, tens of thousands of victims are awaiting a proper burial. They are still in the mass graves. They were killed just because they were Poles.
And now let's take a look at the current epidemiological data in Poland. According to the Ministry of Health, the number of people infected with the coronavirus in Poland increased by 305, and 6 new deaths were reported. The total number of confirmed infections in our country since the beginning of the epidemic is 37,521, and the number of deaths is 1,568. In total, 26,635 people have recovered, and the number of active cases is falling, and currently amounts to less than 9,500. Gusty wind and heavy rainfall passed over Poland yesterday. In Ustroń Morski, in the West Pomeranian region, there was even a whirlwind. Today, warnings against hailstorms and intense rainfall issued by the Institute of Meteorology and Water Management are still valid in 4 provinces. Senior Captain Krzysztof Batorski, spokesperson of the Chief Commander of the State Fire Service, spoke with TV Republika about the details of the past day's events.
Firefighters intervened 926 times yesterday in the whole country. Most of the cases took place in Mazovia, Łódzkie and Wielkopolskie provinces. These actions consisted mainly of pumping out water, removing fallen trees and cutting down broken boughs and branches, as well as restoring the patency of the culverts so that the communication routes were unobstructed. reported. The most spectacular action took place in Ustroń-Morski in the West Pomeranian province. The local whirlwind damaged a holiday resort where a Dutch house caravan park is located. 9 of these cottages have been damaged, 7 of them were almost completely destroyed. 6 people were injured. Over 50 firefighters worked on the site. It is worth mentioning that such constructions as a caravan or a garage made of sheet tin are not attached to the ground in a solid manner. Their wall is much like a sail in strong wind, which makes such objects very susceptible to being swept by the wind, and if a person or animal is nearby, they can suffer serious injury. We are on standby at any time of day or night, every single day, 365 days a year, and tonight is no different. The Institute of Meteorology and Water Management forecasts the 1st or 2nd degree of meteorological warning, especially for the southeastern regions of the country, although precipitation is likely to continue throughout the country.
That's all for tonight. Now on to Poland Daily Business with Aleksander Wierzejski and his guest. Good night.